evolved from being an HR guy to a business leader and reflected their thoughts of how they were an entrepreneur as they were going through the journey of being an HR guy. It was very, very enlightening and motivating for all the partners, all the participants who were there. So those are two flagship programs. We had a wonderful fireside chat session. This was again organized by PM. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there because I had to leave off that day for some other function, but it was again very well received. We had the industry immersion programs both at GE as well as 3M. 3M was showcasing their innovation practices and how innovation was a part of their culture and their value particularly, and then part of their culture. These were all the pre-conference teams who made it possible. Also, special thanks to NMIMS as well as the Wellinger Institute and the BMS College institutions at Baswangudi. They very, very warmly received us to conduct our program. So thank you. Thanks to all the institutions as well. Thank you very much. And it's been a great learning opportunity. Thanks to everybody else. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bala, would you like to do the CHRO conclave and the sponsorships? Yep, hi, good evening. Just give you a quick update on the sectoral conferences. Some of them are not here. Liz did a wonderful job, Elizabeth from TCS, who ran the NGO CSR Partnership Summit. I think they were planning for 125 people, but they landed up with 165 participants, and several people came back and talked about that program. Went off pretty well. Then we had the student conference. Like Udupa said, till the last minute, several of us went through a lot of anxiety. Finally, we had 1,500 students and faculty members attending the student conference. That was a runaway success at Christ College. Anand Bhaskar and his full team, Anand leading it from the front, went off pretty well. The third sectoral conference was Edupreneurs Conference. Sanjay Padode, I was hoping he'll be here from IFIM. They led it from the front with EPSI support. And we had 120 directors and deans from across the country attending the first Edupreneurs Conference that NHRD hosted. So that was again very well received, and several very, very senior people in the education sector were here. And the fourth sectoral conference was on HR Leaders Conclave. There it is, some very well-known names on the speakers list. Yeah, we had Vineet Nair, HCL's former CEO. Mohan Das was there. Suresh, the current chairman and MD of Nestle, he was there to talk about the Nestle story of how the noodles was banned and then it came back. Bill Kuzer, of course, from Chicago Booth School, they hosted this conference for us. And Lula Mohanty from IBM, Vasanti, our own Vasanti, Narendra Pani and K.R. Shekhar. So very nice, about 120, how many people? About 130 participants. Yeah, mostly CHROs, CXOs from across the country were there. And it was, none of the panelists were HR guys. They were all non-HR people talking to HR folks about the conference and about the conclave, what is to look forward to going forward. So very nice. I was there and very well organized by Satish and his team. So those were the 4 sectoral conferences we had on that Wednesday, one day before the main conference. And then we had the 2 days of 8th and 9th, the main conference and the HR showcase. And you heard from Ramesh Ranjan on the showcase. Yeah, okay. Let me come back here first. Let me finish the slides. No, go ahead. So yeah, I've spoken to this audience several times and over the last 4 months and on WhatsApp and several other online mails and several groups on how to raise the money for this conference. This is a week-long conference. The budget that I got from each one of them added up to a couple of crores. And November 8th happened, and you know what happened that day. And several companies clamped themselves up. None of the educational institutions came forward to fund us. We've had several educational institutions in the past writing a big check. So money suddenly dried up. And 20 days before the conference, my wife said, "You don't sleep in the bedroom anymore. You go and sleep in some other room. You know, you're disturbing my sleep," because I was rolling in the bed, you know, not able to raise money and getting stressed out. So literally, I started working from my son's room. He was not here in town, so I used that room. And Anil Rao is the, all of you know, Wellinger Institute director, and several other people. We got together, and finally, I must congratulate the team. We've crossed upwards of 2.5 crores in collections. And I don't think we'll spend more than 1.5, 1.6. The final numbers are yet to come. So there will be a surplus for the chapter, which is good news for us because the chapter has already bought a property and we needed money to do the interiors and do it well so that we can continuously use it for many, many years to come. So I think we are sufficiently funded there. There'll be some taxes to be paid and there will be some 20% of our earnings to be given to the national chapter. So post all that, we'll still have a handsome sum in our hands. And thanks to the entire team. And these are the guys who supported us. It was pretty much crowdsourcing. You know, we didn't have a single 50 lakh platinum or a single 25 lakh gold, but we landed up with all of these guys pitching in. And who's who of Bangalore pretty much helped us in the last minute. And several people from across the country, ICICI, People Strong, Dr. Reddy's from Hyderabad, Deloitte from Bombay, Cognizant from Chennai. You know, you have all the logos there. Don't want to go into each one of them, but thanks to all of them for supporting us and several people from our national chapter as well. The presidents and the rest of them helped us by pulling in some money from each one of them. Thanks a ton to them. Yeah, so total number of sponsors about 40. Literally, I learned how to raise money. Now I can do a startup, literally. Yeah, so and the money comes last 15, 20 days. All the checks we got is in the last 20 days. Yeah, so 40 sponsors, and we had 1 gold and several silver and several friends of NHRD. Friends of NHRD literally means about 3 lakh to 5 lakh is the contribution. So literally we crowdsourced. Thank you. So that's the sum and substance of the overall thing. The main conference was led by Raj and Siddharth and Pallavi and a couple of others, Nandini. Raj couldn't make it today. So I'll hand over to Siddharth to tell us all the excitement of doing the main conference.
Thank you, Bala. Well, it was this kind of an experience when we started designing it, right? We were all blank. So, yeah, and then came clarity. So, Bala, thanks for including me on that team. And it was a wonderful experience because we wanted to do something that hadn't been done before. So this was a very simple thing that we started with. And we said, just like any good learning and development program has learning outcomes, it has a great design around it, has a structure, you know, we've got to make the main conference something like that. People have got to come there and say, yeah, from each of these, sessions, I learned 1, 2, 3, and this is how, the design is going to be. The other thing we had done is when we had done a crowdsourcing of how should NHRD run its programs, we had got a very clear feedback that we should not have panel discussions. So that's another thing that we had to contend with. We said no parallel sessions where the main session has 30 people and all the parallel sessions are filled, and there's a little bit of confusion. So we said we'll go with only one main session, and we have a wonderful parallel HR showcase running there. So the idea was also how do we keep participants engaged and motivated and interested in the entire session. The conference itself had a wonderful theme in terms of the spirit of entrepreneurship, and being conducted in Bangalore. Well, we had too many choices: whom to call, whom not to call, and how do we optimize the entire impact of the whole conference. There you would find all the names there. I'm not going to go through that in detail. But then we started off by looking at conversations. Could we have conversations instead of panel discussions, where there is one particular individual or a set of individuals from a company who'd come and present on the segment. So the entire conference had 3 large segments other than the inauguration. And segment 1 was those who were gaining momentum. People who, companies who had just started off, had been fairly successful, but again, they were gaining momentum. The second segment was those companies who were sustaining momentum. What did they do in terms of the spirit of entrepreneurship, in terms of keeping their people engaged, motivated, creative and innovative. The last segment were those who were known for regaining momentum. There were public stories where they had lost out on momentum. So what did they do to regain that momentum? So we felt this being the overall structure, we then went on to reach out to people. Of course, I think we went through 28 redesigns of the entire conference flow. Speakers were available, the next day they were not available and so on. Somewhere around 2 weeks before the actual conference, all the speakers had kind of confirmed on email, and I guess that's when many of us started breathing actually. And here is so we had 1,000 plus participants in the conference, physical participants, and thanks to the wonderful online team support and the infra that was there, we had 3,000 plus online participants. So we are talking about a 4,000 member strong conference that we actually ran. The team in alphabetical order, actually Bala led the team. So we had Aparajita who was there during the main conference. Bala, Justin, yeah, Justin's here. Nandini is not here. Nandini helped us a lot with, we had some innovative ways of introducing speakers. So much like, the 2011 conference when we had stopped giving mementos away to speakers, we had started the tradition of actually contributing to a girl child who, who'd probably use it for her education and, stuff like that. So we continued that tradition while also starting a new thing of not having introductions of speakers in the traditional sense. We had AVs made and so on, and many of the speakers have actually asked back for those AVs. They said that was really useful. Nandini and her team helped us with that. Pallavi, Raj, Siddhis, me, and then we had student volunteers who played a very, very silent and important role right at the back end. Because at the end of every session, while the speakers were shuffling in and out of the stage, they had to ensure the sofas also had to be shuffled in and out. Right, so it was very, very silent work, but then it was strenuous work. It was high stress, high impact work, and we shouldn't forget to thank them for their contribution. We had a lot of hard and heavy hitters, so I just tried to make a word cloud out of it. And I'm sure the online team is also going to help us put the videos up there on YouTube and so on. So if you happen to miss any of the sessions, you always have 2017 to again go back and learn from those sessions. Thank you very much, Bala. Thank you very much to all the speakers who presented now. As of now, the sense is one of, it's been a long year. So I think it's time to have a fuller life. And may I invite the team from Fuller Life to take over the proceedings of the evening and ensure that we have a great time now going forward. Those of us, please stay back, because one, they've got a huge gift for us, and two, there's cake, right? So there's cake at the end of 45 minutes. And then we'd also like to acknowledge Gift XOXO, who sponsored 10 prizes for the evening, right? So I'm sure it's going to be a great end to 2016 and a great beginning to 2017. Over to you guys from Fuller Life. Thank you.
It was really nice to see all that you guys have done over the last year. It's really, really nice for us to be a part of this evening. It's overwhelming for us. We didn't know that you guys are doing so much, sorry. So we are from the Fuller Life, and as Siddharth very well said, let's have some fun today. It's probably your last, I'm sure it's your last meeting of the year. So let's end the year with a bang. I have a team of people. We have Thomas here. We have Pranjal, Tanya, and where's my game scorer? Janvi. So Tanya is going to be handling the game. Pranjal is, well, doing a bunch of things. She's created the game and she knows all about it. Janvi is going to be handling the scoring, and Thomas, well, he's the strong boy, the judge. Nobody messes with him. That's why we've got him here. So how do you want to have the teams here? Do you want to, what team size is? Okay, anyways, Tanya.
So firstly, good evening, everyone. Compliments of the season. I hope you've had a good season till now, and all the best for the coming year. What we're going to do is, before I give you an introduction about the game and the rules, we'd like to split you all up into teams. So we're going to have 4 teams. For that, if we can just do a tiny activity where the person on my right starts off with saying 1, and then we go up to 4. So once you finish 4, the next person says 1 again, so that we know exactly which team you guys are in. Yeah? Can we start? 3. Now remember your numbers. Okay. Okay. 3, 4, 2, 3. I think you are 3, and then we'll head to 4 here. Yeah? 4. And 1, 2. Add really quickly. We'll have team 1 here, team 2 here. You can nominate somebody else. Okay, y'all have very little responsibility, trust me. Y'all barely have any responsibility. I'm not trying to demean your job, but played those games, or we've all seen people playing those games, right? Yes? No? Yes? Okay, great. So the game we're going to be playing today is known as Pop Vulture. What is pop culture? It is basically a mixture of all the things I said. So we have Damsharads, we have miming, we have, Damsharads obviously is when you're drawing on the board, right? You have Antakshari as well. So we're going to make this as interactive as possible, and we're going to have 5 rounds. All right? So again, team 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember your teams, your captains. You all know who you all are, right? Okay. Shall we start, Abhinav? Okay, great. So our first round is known as color pencil. Pranjal is going to be helping me throughout the entire process, right? So the rules of the game. So every stage, every round that we go through, I'll give you the instructions before we start. So the first round is known as color pencil, and it's Pictionary basically. So you pick a card, one team member comes out from their respective teams. You're given a card. You look at the card. Yes, that's what the captain is for. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. So you look at the card, you draw on the board, and your team has to guess what you've drawn. As simple as that. Okay? So that will be the first round.
Just a pause. Guys, you've got to do all this in 60 seconds. So 1 minute, that's it.
There's always a catch. Okay? But before we start, Pranjal is going to come and give the team captains, Thomas is going to come and give the team captains 2 cards known as swap cards. Okay? So once